Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Asian Psycho, and today I'm bringing you guys a little review on the closed beta of the newest game that I've been showing off on my channel. I've uploaded like a couple gameplay videos of it earlier this week on the game Soldier Front 2. So, if you guys do not know, this is the sequel to the very popular, well, at least back in the day, Soldier Front 1, which was first, I think it was published by IJJI Studios, or it was at least managed by IJJI Studios back in the day when I actually played it a lot. And now it's been shipped over to Aeria Games, and Aeria Games seems like they are also hosting Soldier Front 2 on their website, so I guess that's good. So, one of the reasons why I decided to hop onto Soldier Front 2 to try and check it out and whatnot, see if it's a good game, was because of the fact that I was a very big fan of Soldier Front 1 at one point. It was actually my very first MMOFPS. It was a game that got me into online gaming when I first got my first laptop, like however many years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. So I guess you could say for nostalgia's sake, I did come back to try Soldier Front 2, but another part of me came back to see how much the game has changed over Soldier Front 1, because even though it's been at least a good couple of years since I last played Soldier Front 1, like, on a regular basis, I still remember like most of my memories from it, and I can really relate to, the times I've had with Soldier Front 1 and kind of carry it over to Soldier Front 2 and, compare and contrast what I see in both games. So without further ado, let's get started. First things first, though, I would like to mention that the audience that I'm mainly talking to for this sort of thing is mainly geared towards people who have played Soldier Front 1 at least a little bit, like the Soldier Front 1 veterans. So it's for those guys who haven't been invited over to closed beta testing yet, and kind of want to see what's new and what's going on with Soldier Front 2 before Soldier Front 1. I forgot if they took down the servers for Soldier Front 1. I don't know if it's still running, but I'd be really surprised if the server is still up. I heard that game eventually got overrun by hackers and whatnot, so which I don't know. It's just kind of sad for a game like that to go down like that, but oh well. Times will be, what's been done will be done, I guess. But yeah, that's just kind of like my whole audience that I want to gear this commentary towards. And with that being said, I want to talk about the gameplay mechanics first. So right off the bat, when you jump into a game, you'll notice that the game will tell you, press left shift to sprint. And that was one of the many things about Soldier Front 1 that I didn't like. The fact that, or the lack thereof, I should say, of any sort of sprint mechanic or running mechanic. In Soldier Front 1, if you guys have never played that game, you couldn't sprint. You could only move, like walk around or crouch, and that's about it. There was a method that you could kind of run a little bit, like in quotes, run a little bit faster by walking diagonally. For some reason, walking diagonally allows you to walk faster than like walking straight forward. Don't know what was up with that, but I guess that's one of the many one of the many quirks about Soldier Front 1, that is. But yeah, in that game you couldn't sprint, and I didn't really. That was, I think, in my opinion, that was one of the many downfalls of SF1, was because of the fact that mobility was so limited in that game, and it made the game overall very slow paced compared to a lot of the first person shooters that you see today. So sprinting is back, or I shouldn't say it's back, but it is implemented into Soldier Front 2, and just that by itself makes Soldier Front 2 a much more it's a much more faster pace. Does that make any sense? English. But yeah, in any case, the gameplay is much faster than you would ever see in Soldier Front 1, so that's a very big plus. ADSing. So for those of you guys who remember playing Soldier Front 1, you knew that you couldn't ADS with a normal a normal gun unless it already had a scope on it. For example, like I think for assault rifles, I think the Steyr AEG was the only assault rifle that with the attached scope, unless you had one of those special custom weapons that actually came with a pre-attached scope that you could use to aim down sights with. You couldn't ADS, like the M4A1, AK-74, AK-74. You couldn't ADS with those because they didn't have any scopes. All you could do was just hip fire with them, and just that's the only way you could kill people, just by hip firing. Sniper rifles, obviously you could ADS with them because they got scopes. That's what they're meant for. But any weapon that didn't have a scope, you couldn't ADS. Now in Soldier Front 2, thankfully they have added in an ADS feature where you can aim down sights with any weapon that you want. But some weapons do have pre-attached scopes to them, like for example the P90. Both in Soldier Front 1 and Soldier Front 2, the P90 does have that. No, wait, hold on, I'm confusing that. Never mind. I was thinking of Combat Arms for a little bit, because the Combat Arms P90 does have that attached sight with it, that, their ITEX, red dot sight. But in Soldier Front 1, you can aim down sights with it. I mean, it showed, the model for the P90 in Soldier Front 1 showed the scope, but you couldn't actually use it, so I guess that was one of the, I don't want to say it's a downfall, because having ADS and not having ADS is more of like a gameplay style sort of thing. But it's in my opinion, it's a lot better for a game to have ADS, because it opens up a lot more opportunities for let's say a long range engagement or something like that. Like, you can only do so much with just hip firing, if you know what I mean. So yeah, ADSing is in Soldier Front 2. Different reloading animations. Now, this is one thing that I've seen thus far is very unique to Soldier Front 2. I don't think I can recall any other first-person shooter that offers alternate reloading animations. Now, something like this is very trivial, and it's not really like, oh, it's fundamentally groundbreaking. No, it's nothing like that. It's just, it's just a neat detail that I feel needs to be given credit to in Soldier Front 2. The fact that you can, alternate, or your character will randomly alternate the way or the style at which he uses to, or she, because there are female characters in Soldier Front 2, uses to, reload their weapon. Like, for example, the M4A1 and the what was the other gun? The AK-103. Both of which I have gameplay on my channel. By the way, if you guys haven't seen that before, your character will actually change reloading animations. For example, the AK, I think it has. The AK and the M4 both have two different reloading animations. Like the AK, the character pops out the magazine, puts another one in, and then cocks back the bolt. And then the other animation, it'll show your character pull out the magazine, take another one, and bump it against the barrel of the rifle, and then pop it back in, but it doesn't pull back the bolt. Something, it's just, I don't know. If you guys know me, you guys will know that I'm a very detail-oriented person. I notice things like that. So being able to see like those, even just different kinds of reloading animations, just shows me that the publishers of Soldier Front 2 are really, or I shouldn't say the publishers, the developers of Soldier Front 2 are really are paying attention to detail in this game, and I really like it. I really do. Variety, or before that, kill cam. Now, this also is not necessarily new, like the whole reloading, alternating reload animations is, but still, for a first-person shooter to have a sort of kill cam feature, that's pretty amazing. Like, I mean, games like Blacklight Retribution and other such games, like they have a form of kill cam per se, but it's more like the free roam kind of thing. Like Combat Arms and Blackout Retribution, like if someone kills you and kill cam is on, then you can kind of see you can see who killed you, but you just see them running around after that. You don't see how they kill you. Like, for example, the kill cams in Call of Duty. The kill cams in Call of Duty show you how you got killed. Like, oh, here's like a 5 or 4 second time frame that will show you how your enemy who killed you, and that's how the kill cam in Soldier Front 2 also operates, which is a very good thing in my opinion, because sometimes you wonder, like, how did I die? How did I end up dying by, well, however, you get my point. But a lot of first-person shooters don't offer that because, I don't know, maybe for a lot of reasons. But Soldier Front 2, it's very nice to see that you do have the option to see exactly how you died. Now, the kill cam, because this is a MMOFPS, obviously the kill cam isn't too advanced, it's not that great. It's a clear example of a broken camera, and what I mean by that is that it's not really synchronized very well. Like, it'll show you the general view of your enemy who killed you, but like, for example, if you got sniped, like say for example you got quick scoped at a really fast pace, then it doesn't really show you it very well. You'll understand what I mean when you actually go and watch a kill cam for yourself. Sometimes your enemy will not be even aiming at you. You won't be like, sometimes you don't even be able to see yourself, and it'll show your enemy just shooting randomly with, like, for example, a sniper rifle, and it says kill, you got to kill, and stuff like that. So the kill cam does need a lot of work, but it's still a very big step towards, in my opinion, the right direction, because having that kind of kill cam is much more useful than, you know, just like a dolly camera, so to speak, that will show you like, oh, your enemy's going this way after he's killed you, and they call it a kill cam. It's not like, well, I mean, I guess it is, but, you know, I kind of want to see how I died. Maybe that would be a lot more useful. So yeah, I just like that kind of style of kill cams. Variety of game modes. Now, in Soldier Front 1, for those guys who have played it, once again, you guys will probably remember before they came out with, like, was the map called Factory, when they first released Team Deathmatch. Like, before they released Team Deathmatch, the only real game modes were like Combat Arms style Elimination Pro or Search and Destroy, something along the lines of that. And not only that, but what map you played was also dependent on what kind of game mode you were playing as well. Like, you couldn't say, oh, I want to play what's the map? Shanghai. I want to play Shanghai Search and Destroy. No, there was no such thing. There's only Extraction Point for Shanghai. And I'm sure most of you guys who have played Soldier Front 1 do remember that map, Shanghai. It was one of the most popular maps when Soldier Front 1 was actually popular. I remember playing it a lot, and I remember it very well. Alpha Team has to, at least one member from Alpha Team must reach the submarine safely or kill, you know, everyone else to win the round. Or Bravo Team just needs to slaughter everyone, or, you know, make sure that no one on Alpha gets on the submarine or to win the round. So that's how they win. That's the sort of thing that Soldier Front 1 had kind of a problem with, because you couldn't choose like, oh, I want to play on this map and I want to play on this game mode. No, you couldn't do that. The map that you were playing on determined what game mode you were playing. So that kind of sucked. I would have liked to seen, like, you know, people playing Team Deathmatch on Shanghai, or what's the sand map that you could play like Search and Destroy on? Was it called Desert? I don't know, I forgot. It's been such a long time, but, like, anyways, those kinds of maps, it was like that kind of situation kind of turned me off from Soldier Front eventually. But the fact that there are a variety of game modes for Soldier Front 2 anyway, as far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure there's a search and destroy style mode, but it seems like Team Deathmatch is still one of the more popular game modes, in my opinion. It's good for me because I like Team Deathmatch. I'm not really a huge Search and Destroy or Elim Pro fan, so for me, Team Deathmatch is a very, very good thing. Also, there's one very fun mode. Actually, they have those alien modes, right? The horde modes, kind of things. It's kind of like, you know, zombies or Arctic Combat's you know, survivor mode or whatever they call it. So they have those kinds of modes where you just want to kill some, you know, I guess aliens in this case. And they have the fun mode where you can play on the map called Funhouse, and it's called Shatter, where you are on 3 layers of glass, and you can either shoot. You start with a pistol, and you have to rush towards the middle in order to break, like, mystery boxes that remind me of those mystery boxes from Mario Kart, and pick up a random weapon. And either that, or you can use your infinite ammo M92 Beretta and try to shoot out all the glass underneath your enemies, and send them flying down to the bottom, where either they'll smack dead against the floor, or they'll bounce on these little rotating, I don't know, bounce mats, I guess, and bounce all the way back up. So it's pretty fun. It's actually quite hilarious, and it's a very good way to blow off some steam if you want to just have some fun with Soldier Front 2, but you don't feel like playing Team TDM or any other, like, try hard game mode, so to speak. So in that case, or in that sense, the beginning of Soldier Front 2 is a lot more enjoyable in terms of game modes than my experience with Soldier Front 1, at least when I first joined. Because all I ever played, or all you could ever play in Soldier Front 1 when I first joined, was basically like those one life style per round, round-based matches where you were either playing something like Elimination Pro or Search and Destroy. which, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of those kinds of game modes, so I didn't really enjoy it that much. Accolades. Now, here's the thing. Soldier Front 1 did have accolades, but they were very, very rare. First of all, because of the fact that killing someone was a lot more challenging in SF1 than it is in SF2. SF2 is a lot more fast-paced because of how quickly you can kill someone compared to Soldier Front 1. Anyway, this is just between these two, and the fact that it's because it was like most games were like search and destroy or something like that. You couldn't really see, you rarely ran into like more than 2 people at a time without either killing one and dying yourself or just dying outright. So yeah, the accolades, there were accolades in Soldier Front 1. My point is there were accolades in that game, but they were very rare. Like there were double kills, there were multi kills, and what was the last one? It was like, what was a 4-piece? I know they had a special accolade for 4-piece. Oh yeah, they said special force. Yeah, I remember. Holy shit, I can't believe I remember this kind of thing. They said special force whenever you got 4 kills in a row, but those were extremely rare. Like you would normally never see someone get a 4-piece in Soldier Front 1, and they weren't anything like accolades in combat arms either, where you have a lot of time between kills or to advance on to your next accolade. No, you had to kill 2 people in quick succession in the same magazine. So it was very challenging to get accolades in that game. Kind of like Call of Duty before Black Ops 2. The whole double kill, triple kill, multi-kill medals in Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, stuff like that. It kind of behaved like that, where you had to get them in very quick succession. Otherwise, you wouldn't get the accolade at all. So it's nice, but in Soldier Front 2, it's nice to see that they've returned. You definitely can get. It's a lot easier to get accolades in Soldier Front 2, but how they work still remains very similar. You still need to kill people in very quick succession, either within the same mag, or you kill someone with an assault rifle, quickly pull out your pistol, and then pistol whip someone really fast. That's the only ways you can get like true accolades in Soldier Front 2. It's definitely nothing like combat arms, where you can have a lot of time between kills, and you get like 1 kill 3 minutes later, or I shouldn't say 3 minutes, like 15 seconds later. Nah, that's still too much. Like 5 seconds later, double kill. 5 seconds later, multi-kill and stuff like that. Nah, it's nothing like that. You need to get kills in rapid succession within the same magazine. That's the only way you can get accolades. And in my opinion, I kind of like that. I kind of like that a little bit better than Combat Arms' accolades. If it weren't for the fact that Combat Arms had the whole unbelievable accolade, then I'd probably like Soldier Front style better. But still, it's a very attainable accolade system, I must say. And I kind of miss the old voiceovers though, because now they only show you like the medals for whenever you got double kills or multi kills or whatever. In Soldier Front 1, they actually said double kill, multi kill, something like that when you actually got those, which is pretty cool. It got you kind of pumped because when you got those kinds of kills. In Soldier Front 2, unfortunately they don't have the same voiceovers, which kind of makes me bummed. But hey, it is what it is. Picking up weapons. Now, here's another thing that is very, very. It's not necessarily unique, because you could definitely pick up other people's weapons in Soldier Front 1, but in Soldier Front 1, the thing was about picking up other people's weapons, was the fact you had to buy an item for it. Now, that made it really bad for G-Coin users, I think it's called, when Soldier Front was still under IJJI. For people who didn't buy G-Coin, you couldn't pick up other people's weapons, because the only way you could, like I said, was if you had equipped an item that lets you scavenge weapons off other people's bodies. And and even then, you couldn't even tell what kind of weapon they had unless they had it in their hand. Sometimes the game would glitch where you couldn't see the weapon that they were holding, so you didn't know what kind of weapon. Oftentimes, you didn't know what weapon that you were picking up. So that was, obviously that's kind of bad. In this game, in Soldier Front 2, it's a lot more like Call of Duty, where all you need to do is just walk near the weapon, just tap E, and you'll pick it right up. It's simple as that. And it's a lot more convenient than Soldier Front 1, where you couldn't, like, if you didn't buy G-Coin, if you didn't buy that item, or if you didn't have it at all, guess what? The weapon you spawned with is the only weapon you'll ever get. So, yeah, I believe that's a huge step in the right direction. The fact that you can pick up other people's weapons. However, I I'm pretty sure you can't pick up other people's pistols, because it's kind of like combat arms where when people die, they drop their primary weapons. It's same thing goes for Soldier Front 2. You can't pick up other people's pistols per se. I mean, so far there's only 3 kinds of pistols: the G17 or the Glock 17, the M92FS, the same one that you see in combat arms, except it's actually a good pistol in this game, and the Sig Sauer. No, it's like a sour pistol, not like sour as in you taste it, but the German sour, or whatever nationality it is. So those kinds of pistols, those are the only 3. So I don't really see the whole point of picking up people's pistols. But it'd be kind of neat to, it'd be kind of neat. But I don't know. I can't complain about not being able to pick up other people's pistols, because you can still take other people's assault rifles, submachine guns, sniper rifles. So that's obviously a very good thing. Melee system. Now, this is very hilarious, because for any of you who remember playing Soldier Front 1, the melee system in that game was so bad. Oh my god. It was hilarious just watching someone try to knife someone. You couldn't do it. Not only was the knives like freaking weak, I think it was a 3-hit knife kill. And if like, the ultimate humiliation was going up to someone and knifing him, and everyone in the freaking lobby would laugh at you because you got knifed. And not only that, but it was just it's like the third person model for someone trying to knife, it was hilarious to watch too. It was just so funny. Like, I couldn't, my friend Protagonist and I, because if you guys didn't know as well, actually I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but Protagonist actually played Soldier Front 1 a lot too. He was really good at it. I think his highest account was like a second lieutenant first lieutenant something. He had an A94 on that account, but he played a lot of Soldier Front 1 too, oftentimes with me. And we would always make jokes about how just retarded people would look trying to knife in third person. So it was the subject of a lot of like good humor, good fun. Like, people like to poke fun at the fact that he just looks very derpy going around knifing people. But now in Soldier Front 2, the knifing system is actually a very legitimate tactic. I mean, unfortunately, you can't actually have your knife out like in combat arms or in Battlefield. You can only press F, and your character will actually shank a little bit in order to melee someone. But it's the melee system in Arctic. I'll get to Arctic Combat in a little bit, but the melee system in Soldier Front 2 is a lot like Arctic Combat's, where, or I should say Arctic Combat's newest melee feature, where if you knife someone to the front, then it won't kill them outright unless you get a headshot. You can actually get headshot knife kills just like in Arctic Combat, and Combat Arms for that matter, I guess. But you can get knife headshots. I have gotten one before. But if you can't get a headshot right off the bat and they're already full HP, then it'll take 2 knife hits to put them down, I believe. If you knife them in the back, however, just like in Arctic Combat, if you knife them in the back, it's an instant kill, and you get a special medal for it that's called Surprise, and it rewards you, I guess, for being able to flank your opponent and being able to knife in the back. Usually, you get that medal for people who are either camping or on snipers who aren't really paying attention to their flank, so you can just go up to them and just shank them and get your Surprise medal. But yeah, just the thing is, though, is that knifing in Soldier Front 2 is still not the best option for you to go around, as a combat option. It's not like Arctic Combat or, Combat Arms, where you can actually run around with the knife and still be able to relatively do well, so to speak, if you know what you're doing or are careful. In Soldier Front 2, you necessarily can't do that. Melee is literally your last-ditch option, and the only real use for it is to get surprise attack kills on people who aren't watching their back. So it's definitely improved over Soldier Front 1, but it's still not something you see people use like all the time. It's not something that's going to be constantly on someone's mind, like, oh, I'm going to knife this guy. But it is what it is, and I still appreciate the fact that they've kind of upgraded the melee system, at least to the level where Arctic Combat's knife system is. Next up is how I guess it's not really an improvement per se, but I just want to comment on how how much it resembles Call of Duty. And I mean, a lot of people bag on how Combat Arms is copying Call of Duty, Arctic Combat is copying Call of Duty, and that's fine and all. But at least those two games, their animations don't actually look like the same animation from Call of Duty. Like, especially if you guys have ever played Modern Warfare 2, then and you come here to play Search Front 2, the animations that you see when you kill someone, or especially when you kill someone, like if you are killed yourself and you watch the camera kind of pans out so you see your character kind of groan and die to the floor, they look almost exactly like the ones from Modern Warfare 2. Like a few of the death animations in Social Front 2 are exactly identical. Like there's this one pose where if you get killed, your character will kind of kneel, buckle forward onto their knees and hold their hands up to their face as if they got shot in the face, and it kind of bend over and die, I guess. That's the same. That's exactly the same way they die in Modern Warfare 2. Another death is when your character dies, you can sometimes see them kind of stumble to the left or to the right before they fall over and die. That's the same exact way that they die in Modern Warfare 2. So I'm not really too sure how I feel of this. I mean, it's nice to see, and I guess I don't know. I don't want to say it's a reference to Modern Warfare 2, but there is no doubt in my mind anyway that the developers did look towards Modern Warfare 2 and other Call of Duty titles to see like, oh hey, what can we do for the death animations, So that's just kind of like that's just my opinion on those kinds of things anyway. It's very trivial, it's just the detail thing. And another thing that's also very reminiscent of Call of Duty is the medal system. Like you'll notice that there are long shot medals, there are I mean, there's like medals that you see in Social Front 2 that also you can see from Call of Duty. Like I mentioned before, like I mentioned just now, long shot, headshot. They have a explosive medal where you can kill someone with not a flashbang, yeah, right. But you can kill someone with a grenade, and it'll give you the boom medal for killing people with a grenade. It'll give you a surprise medal, like I just said. It can give you like the accolade medals, which I already mentioned. It's kind of like Call of Duty's. And there's this one medal in particular that really reminds me of Halo. In fact, in Halo, if you get like a really quick kill, I think they call it what did he call it again? It's like a snapshot, yeah, the snapshot medal. It's kind of like that in Soldier Front 2, except it's called a quick shot, where you can do it with either a sniper rifle or just any weapon in general, where you aim down sights really fast onto an enemy and kill them almost instantly with like your first couple bullets. And when you do that, the game gives you a quick shot medal for killing someone really fast while aiming by aiming down sights just onto them. So that's kind of cool, the whole medal system, and it's just like a attention detail thing that I kind of wanted to mention. Grenade indicators. Now, if you guys don't know, Soldier Front 1, Combat Arms, Arctic Combat, all those games do not give you a grenade indicator when someone, like an enemy, tosses a grenade at you. And unlike Call of Duty, where it actually gives you a grenade indicator, like that Battlefield. I'm pretty sure, does BLR show you a grenade indicator? I'm pretty sure it does. Black Ops Retribution should give you a grenade indicator. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. In Soldier Front 2, they actually also give you a grenade indicator too, and they give you the distance on top of that, so you know how far you are away from the grenade, and you can, like, if there's no way for you to escape it, because if you move you'll die for sure, then you can see like, oh, okay, I'm this many meters away from the grenade, I'll take this much damage, and you can kind of plan that out. So I like the fact that they gave you a grenade indicator so that you can see how close you are to an enemy grenade when it comes rolling along. So yeah, that's very good. Also, another thing about grenades is that, unlike Soldier Front 1, you can actually now deploy grenades almost instantly. Like, you just pull out the grenades. It's not like Arctic Combat or Battlefield or Call of Duty, where you just hit like the grenade button and it'll just toss it right away without you having to actually take it out first. But it's more like combat arms where you have to pull out the grenade first and then unpin it and then toss it. However, it's different for combat arms, but in the fact that when you pull it out, you can, and if you just right click, it'll instantly throw it. There's no animation for your character pulling the actual pin. If you want to toss it really fast, you can toss it really fast by just left clicking, boom, and your guy just throws it like immediately. No hesitation, just bam, grenade's hot. There it goes. However, just like Soldier Front 1, where if you just prime the grenade, you can hold it literally forever, because it's not like Call of Duty where you can just, when you hold it for example, if you hold a frag grenade for too long, it'll blow up in your face. Soldier Front 1 or both Soldier Front 1 and Soldier Front 2, you can pull the grenade on the pin and you can hold it and then wait for the perfect opportunity to throw it. But in my honest opinion, the fact that you can actually just left click really fast and just pop it, so to speak, it kind of makes that obsolete. But the feature is there nonetheless. This works for, I think, all grenades. It should work for all grenades because I use the flashbang and M67 frag, so it works for the pop the pop throw, as I'll coin right now. Is possible for both of them. So I should expect that the smoke grenade, which is the third type of grenade that Soldier Front can offer, also should be thrown like that. Yeah. Next up is just the actually, I'll get to that later. Quick scoping. Now, I mean, Soldier Front 1, there was kind of like a quick scoping feature, but it was more like, how should I put this? What's the closest? It was kind of like Black Ops 1, in Call of Duty Black Ops 1, where the scope kind of zoomed in towards your enemy instead of while we're talking about that, kind of like combat arms, where when you scope in, it kind of zooms towards your enemy and you can't see anywhere around you. You just see, like, except for what your sniper scope shows you, everything else is black, because it's kind of mimicking the fact that you're looking through a sniper scope. But in Soldier Front 2, it's a lot more rapid. Actually, when you scope in, it doesn't. There's no like zoom in. There's no smooth animation. It's just bam. It's like right click, bam. You're looking through your scope, and it's there exactly where the zoom level goes. When you scope out, though, it kind of gives you that. It kind of pulls you away. It gives you that feeling where it's pulling you away from your view. But when you right click to aim down sights, it's kind of like a bam. You're there kind of thing. So. In that respect, I do think that quickscoping is a much more viable option than it was in Soldier Front 1. It was still possible in Soldier Front 1. It just depended on how broken your weapon was, and what I mean by that is your weapons degrade over time. However, depending on how much you use it in Soldier Front 1. So the more broken it was, the more prone it would be to inaccuracy. So I think a full HP, so to speak, PSG-1 in Soldier Front 1, you could actually legitimately quickscope with that thing. It was ridiculous. I have seen people quickscope with it and get good at it, and it is scary. Soldier Front 2, I think it's a lot easier to do for a lot of people who weren't really used to the sniping mechanics in Soldier Front 1, but it's still kind of a challenge to do, because especially for me, where I'm used to the combat arm style of quickscoping, where it's kind of like that smooth zoom in thing, and so I can lock onto my target. Instead, Soldier 2 is like the bam, you're looking at your target kind of thing. So my brain still kind of needs to get, I guess, used to that, so to speak. But it's definitely possible. I have quickscope people a couple of times, and I think as with most other quickscoping mechanics in most other games, it's just a matter of memorizing the middle of your screen. And no, please don't use a red dot or red tape in the middle of your screen. That's just fucking gay. Now let's see the next one. Oh, while we're on the topic of sniper rifles, I'm not too sure if I am satisfied with how the performance of sniper rifles, because it seems like sniper rifles are a little bit too powerful at what they do. I'm just gonna say it a little bit, because obviously, like, they're meant to be good at long range. They're sniper rifles, for God's sake. I know, but it's like they're almost a little bit too good at what they do. Like, there's really no effective way to combat snipers unless you have a sniper rifle of your own. That's the best way I can describe the situation. It's as long as the snipers have aim, they can basically one shot with pretty much any sniper rifle. I mean, granted, there are only two kinds of snipers in the game so far, which is the first of all being PSG-1, which has made its return from Soldier Front 1, which I'm personally really happy to see, because PSG-1 is just so iconic. It's the cheapest and most reliable sniper rifle from Soldier Front 1 anyway. And it's come back for exactly the same price, so that's good, right? And I think the other one's called the CZ8 something something. It's a bolt action sniper rifle. But it's like I said before, if you don't have a sniper rifle of your own, there's almost no way you can effectively counter an enemy sniper who's really far away and out of your weapon's effective range. So I don't know. I feel like either I'm gonna have to get better at countering snipers, or they should do something to kind of weaken the sniper rifles at long range, or better yet, just buff all of the weapons at long range. I guess that's a better thing to do, because at long range I've noticed that it takes quite a few bullets to kill if they're not, if they're at full HP. It's kind of like Arctic Combat bullet drop or damage drop off, where the further away they are, the much weaker damage that you'll be dealing to them, depending on what kind of gun you have. If it's not a sniper rifle, that is, obviously. So yeah, those are just my thoughts on sniper rifles thus far. They may change in the future, but we'll see what happens. Hit markers. Now, you guys all know about the hit markers. I mean, basically every first-person shooter game now, even in some games, they even give you hit markers in single player. That's kind of weird, but I don't know. I've grown up playing single player Call of Duty, where most of the time they don't really give you hit markers. Like I think in Black Ops 2 single player they actually gave you a hit markers, which was kind of weird to me anyway. But I guess most first-person shooter games are doing that now. But in Soldier Front 2, finally they have given you hit markers. There were a form of hit markers in Soldier Front 1, but they weren't like audio cues like they were in Combat Arms. Like in Combat Arms, if you shoot someone, they'll make that whole pew noise that lets you know, hey, you shot this person. But in Soldier Front 1, the only way you could tell you hit someone was when you hit someone, they this is another really funny thing too. Soldier Front 1, unless you have like a configuration where you can actually see blood, I think there's a blood mod for Soldier Front 1 back in the day. But if you didn't have that installed, which most people didn't, all you really saw was when you shot someone or when you shot an enemy, all you would see is like a white cloud come out of them whenever you shot them. So that was pretty funny. So that was the only kind of hit marker you could ever you knew. I mean, it was very visible, but it really depended on if you were paying attention to the screen. Most of the time you were, but sometimes you wouldn't see if you hit them or not, because maybe you're distracted at the computer. So that was kind of annoying. But in Soldier Front 2, I think they give you both audio and audio and visible hit markers. So that's obviously a very good thing. The hit markers, I actually really like the Call of Duty hit markers, so you can really tell that they're pulling a lot of things from Call of Duty here. Next up, another feature that is very reminiscent of Call of Duty is the fact that when your enemies shoot, they will show up on your minimap, and this makes the minimap a much more powerful tool in Soldier Front 2. Soldier Front 1, I don't even think you had a minimap, and if it did, well, no one ever used it. But in Soldier Front 2, now it behaves more like Call of Duty, where when someone shoots, you can see where the precision is on the minimap, and you can use it towards your advantage, so you can go hunt them down. So that feature, I really do like, but that's only because of the fact that I'm used to the whole Call of Duty, if you shoot an unsuppressed weapon, you'll show up on the minimap. So there you go. It's kind of like the same thing. They show up as red dots on your minimap, and you go hunt them down. Headshots. Headshots are also instant kills in Soldier Front 2, no matter at what distance or what weapon you shoot them with. Like, even if you shoot them with a pistol at like halfway, like all the way across the map, shoot them in the head, they're done. It's basically like Combat Arms etiquette, where you shoot them in the head, they're done for good. This is a change over from Soldier Front 1, where I remember you could shoot someone in the head, they'd still be living. I mean, granted, shooting someone in the head dealt extra damage, but even if they were full health and you shot them in the head with anything other than a sniper rifle, they wouldn't go down one shot. So this is definitely a change over from Soldier Front 1, and now in Soldier Front 2, shoot them in the head, boom, one shot, they're done. Knife kills. Oh, I've already mentioned this. I have a little list of things I want to talk about. So knife kills, like I mentioned before, one hit to the back, but 2 hits in the front if they're full HP. Another thing about sniper rifles that I wanted to mention was the fact that now sniper rifles in or snipers in Soldier Front 2 behave a lot like the snipers in Battlefield 3. If you guys have never played Battlefield 3 before or aren't really familiar with it, sniper rifles in Battlefield 3 behave in such a way that they will kind of give off a white light to anyone who is looking at them if they stay in one position for too long. This is kind of a way. This was DICE's way of kind of saying like, okay, look, snipers, I know you like to camp and all, but you gotta move every once in a while because you can't just camp in one place and just expect to stay there for a long time. So that's one of the ways that they kind of balance, so to speak, snipers in that game. They behave the same way in Soldier Front 2. In Soldier Front 2, when you have a sniper rifle out, no matter how long you've been staying in one area, people will be able to see the fact that you have a sniper rifle because there's going to be a bright white light coming from your position, and they can see you very easily. So I guess that's one of the ways to counter snipers, but sometimes, though, I feel like that white light doesn't show up all the time, especially on the map Factory. If you guys have played Factory before, for those of you guys who have already been playing closed beta Soldier Front 2, there's that one sniper perch inside the warehouse that behind the oil barrels and whatnot that sniper rifles love to camp behind, and sometimes you can't see the white light there, so oftentimes you won't know that there's a sniper rifle there, and you just look over there and it's like, oh, there's no white light, I guess I'll just move along, and boom, you're dead because there was actually a sniper over there just camping there and you couldn't see the white light because he was behind cover. So I mean, it's not 100% foolproof, but it's still there, and still something you need to watch out for. Now that I've spent the last 40 minutes or so talking about the mechanics changes in Soldier Front 2 and here's the combat arms there, let's talk about the whole changes that have been made to the monetary system and the rank up system and the overall the UI for Soldier Front 2 when you're not in game. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that guns are relatively cheap. This is because of the fact that this is just closed beta. Obviously, Arctic Combat basically behaved in the same way where every time you ranked up, the game gave you a free permanent weapon, so you could run around and try out all the new weapons before the open beta came out. And I think that Soldier Front 2 is going to be doing something like this as well. Except now in Soldier Front 2, they give you enough funds for you to buy one weapon, and actually you can buy a lot of weapons. I've bought the AK-103 and the M4A1 with the starting amount of SP. Yeah, SP. I think they call it soldier points. It stands for soldier points, I think. Don't take my word on it though. It's basically the in-game currency. They give you enough to, in closed beta anyway, to for you to buy 2 weapons. And all weapons except for all primary weapons cost 20k, and all pistols cost 10k, and the grenades cost 3k each or something like that. So those are the price for basically all the weapons. And obviously they're going to change once the open beta comes out. They're just making the prices low so that people can run around seeing oh hey, what guns do we like the most, what guns are we most comfortable with, and that system, that feature obviously is really good so that people can kind of wet their hands in what kinds of weapons that they're suited to, they like. And not only that, but also they give you starter packs where if you reach level 7, then you can open your first starter pack, and it'll give you 7-day assault rifles and submachine guns. It gives you the 6553, no 6551. I think it returns from Soldier Front 1. It gives you the Galil arm, which is kind of like the Galil from Soldier Front 1, but it's kind of modified. It gives you the what was the third assault rifle? I'm pretty sure there was a third one that they give you, but it's skipping my mind right now. I'll probably come back to it. But they also give you 2 submachine guns, one of them being the P90 and the other one being the MP5K, and all for 7 days. So that's a really good thing. I think they also give you an item that gives you plus 100 XP per match for 1 day. So that's also very good. So the system for now is very good, but it's only for closed beta, and by the time they release the full version of Soldier Front 2, probably the prices will go way up. I kind of want to see the PSG one for still available for 20K though. That'd be pretty good for old time's sake. Another thing I want to touch base on is the fact that it is now slightly easier to gain money. Because in Soldier Front 1, man, that was the worst thing that I ever hated about that game in terms of the UI and the monetary system. The SP recharge bar it took you so long to recharge that damn thing. Like, I think I only recharged that thing like twice in an entire year, and it only gave you like 10k SP per recharge. So that was really bad. It was bullshit. Now though, it seems like you can earn more SP and more frequently by completing challenges. Like if you complete like an assault rifle challenge or a submachine gun challenge, like getting 25 kills with a submachine gun or something like that, then the game will reward you with 500 SP. It's not much, but it does add up over time. And using that, you can use it to repair your weapons or buy something really cheap, something like that. So that's obviously a very good thing. That was one of the biggest problems about Soldier Front 1 was the fact that you just couldn't get enough money. Like literally the only 3 times you would ever get paid any form of in-game currency was one when you were staff sergeant where it gave you 10k, another one when you were like second lieutenant or something like that and it gave you like 20k, and the third time it gave you 50k, but it was up towards like what, major something. And it was a bitch to get past lieutenant because first of all, you didn't know when you were gonna rank up. Like, you had to search up on the fucking wiki. Second of all, it takes you so damn long to fucking rank up. Ugh, my god. But anyways, that's how the monetary system works there. Another change that they've made to Soldier Run 2 in terms of your classes is the fact that you now get 3 classes by default that you can work with and bring with you into a single game. You can, I believe you can switch out your loadout in game, kind of like Arctic Combat, but for now I don't really know how you can do that. I don't really know the whole switch classes in game. I don't know you can even do that, but I'm assuming that you can, but I just don't know how to do it yet. But yeah, unlike Soldier Front 1, where it only gave you 2 classes by default that you could switch in-game, like when you're dead or something like that, Soldier Front 2 seems like they can give you 3, so that's obviously 1 more class. Nice, right? And now, for your class systems, all your classes have all the same grenades. In Soldier Front 1, it was a really big pain, and so the same applies with Arctic Combat, where you need to have an individual grenade for each and every single class. That was a real pain to do because, like for example, in Soldier Front 1, I remember one of my classes having flashbangs, smokes, and frag grenades in one class, but I could only use it for that particular class, and the same applies over to Arctic Combat. Soldier Front 2, however, is very good because all you need to do is just buy one set of each grenade, and it'll apply to all your classes. So I think that's a very good thing. So you don't have to spend needless amounts of money on all these grenades that you need to have on every single class. And I think that's a very good thing that the developers have made for Soldier Front 2. The other thing that I want to talk about as for the system changes is like this kind of refers to like how your game behaves on your computer. Alt tabbing is now good. My god, Soldier Front 1, if you alt tabbed, my god, your game fucking crashed. I'm really glad that you can now alt tab in Soldier Front 2, and the developers have develop this game with alt tabbing in mind. If you go into your options, you can actually enable or disable alt tabbing, and I think that's a very good feature. You can turn it on, or you can disable alt tab if you feel like you don't really need to have the you don't really have the urge to alt tab of your game, and you need to focus on the game, and you don't want to accidentally alt tab of the game by by accident, redundancy. Or you can turn it on when you want to feel like, oh hey, I just want to alt tab out of my game, go surf the internet for a little bit, and come back to my game. I think that option is excellent, and it's something that all PC MMOFPS should have. The fact that you can now you can now choose whether or not you want your game to be able to alt tab out by itself, or let you not let you alt tab, just so that it can ward off against like accidental alt tabbings. So I think that's very, very good. Also, it's just all the options that you see in Soldier Front 2 are the ones that, kind of resemble in other games like in Arctic Combat and Combat Arms. Soldier Front 1, the options were extremely limited. Like, I don't even think you could increase the brightness in that game. That was really bad and stuff like that. So, yeah, it does give you a lot more options to work with, and compared to the options menu in fucking Soldier Front 1. So do check it out. I think there will be at least a couple options that you will be interested in, like toggling and whatnot. So that's very good. Also, I think you can actually change the quality. So if you don't have a very good computer, you can turn down the quality on it so that it's running on lowest settings, and it'll actually give you like a preview of what your game would look like if you for example, turn on like low quality. If you turn on lowest quality, then you can notice the fact that all the graphics are very low. There's no shader effect. There's no visual distortion from grenades going off or getting shot at. On the highest graphic settings, which is what I play with because I feel like that's most interesting. You can see everything like that. And Soldier Front 2, while it's not obviously it's because it's an MMOFPS, it's not like some Battlefield kind of thing, but it's still a very good looking game, and I'm very happy with how it looks so far. EXP, the EXP system in Soldier Front 2 is very surprising. It is an immediate accumulation system. Now, what I mean by that is that just like in Arctic Combat doesn't do this. Call of Duty doesn't follows this kind of immediate accumulation kind of system where you get a kill, it gives you 100 points, and it adds it automatically to your score instantly. It kind of follows like that. Games like Combat Arms, Black Color Retribution, Arctic Combat, Soldier Front 1 for just for an obligatory mention. All those games, you have to finish the match in order to gain any sort of EXP whatsoever. Not in Soldier Front 2. Soldier Front 2, you kill someone, your points instantly add up. The way I notice is because of the fact that in game you can rank up. You can rank up in game, and that's something you can do in Battlefield 3. You can do in Call of Duty, stuff like that. So I think that's a very good change. Because for example, if you don't have time to finish a match and you don't want to leave because you're gonna forfeit your match, but your match EXP that you would otherwise get if you've completed it, you don't have to worry about that anymore in Soldier Front 2. Like your EXP accumulates rapidly, immediately, and I feel like that's the best way. That's the best form of EXP systems. Attention to detail. Now, soldier behavior. This is one thing. Like, obviously, this is again, like I just said, something that's very trivial, and it's only like I only like to talk about it because I like to pay attention to detail. But your actual soldier model, when you are in you're in the pregame lobby, when you win or lose, your guy will actually kind of like, for example, if you win, your guy will be like, yeah, we won. So kind of have that kind of victory pose, like he'll cross his arms or pump his fist or whatnot. I haven't seen all the victory poses, but your character will kind of behave according to your last game, like whether you won or lost. Like, for example, if you lost, then there are two different kinds of, I guess, behaviors that your guy will do. Like, one of them is like your guy will kind of be angry at himself, and he'll kind of maybe kind of punch the wall a little bit, kick the wall, and then he's like bang his head against it, kind of like, why did we lose? And the other one is like, you'll see him when you come out of the post game menu. You'll see him like with his gun on the floor, and he'll have his hands on his knees and be like, damn it, why did we lose? That sort of stuff really interests me, and it really intrigues me. That sort of thing really makes the game for me very enjoyable, because it's like, no other game does something like that, Like, what other MMOFPS have you seen with that gives you such attention to detail like that? Your guy actually, like, being angry and upset that he lost the match. That's fucking cool. That's awesome. So that kind of thing is, to me, it's a very good thing. It's something very interesting to watch, and props to developers for doing something like that, because it's very interesting and very good. Now, we spent basically the last hour about talking about all the changes to Soldier Front 2 over Soldier Front 1, or the ones I could see anyway. I could be missing a lot of them, but these are all the ones that I have noticed thus far. Similarities, however, there are still quite a few, as Soldier Front 2 is still a sequel to Soldier Front 1, and I feel like a lot of these similarities are here very intentionally. So, the first thing I want to talk about as for similarities are weapon similarities. Yeah, so let's see how many times I can say similarity in the same sentence. Drinking game! No, please don't. I'm underage, I don't drink. But, yeah. Seriously speaking, though, weapon similarities. In Soldier Front 2, with the current arsenal, I mean, obviously it's not very big, seeing that it's only in closed beta, which is understandable. But most of the guns that you see in Soldier Front 2 are almost basically the same ones that you see in Soldier Front 1. Like the M4A1 makes a return. I mean, obviously, the M4A1 is like fucking ubiquitous amongst FPS titles. So M4A1's back, the MP7 is back. I believe the MP7 was available in Soldier Front 1, but it was released like well into my Soldier Front 1 career. Like I never used it, but I'm pretty sure it was in Soldier Front 1. The MP7's back. God, the PSG-1 is back. They call it the HK Marksman, but it's basically PSG. And it's when I saw the PSG-1 in Soldier Front 2 earlier today, I was like, hallelujah. I can't believe I just that, but that was basically my reaction. Just like, oh my god, PSG is back! Thank the Lord! But yeah, I just kind of had a mini nerdgasm because seeing the PSG-1 back. I don't know, it just made me really happy. So PSG-1's back. The SIG the SIG 551 was an assault rifle in Soldier Front 1, and that's back too. P90's back. I guess you could say the Galil is back too, but this time they've kind of reformatted to be the Galil arm instead of the regular IMI Galil that was from Soldier Front 1. God, the Galil in Soldier Front 1 was so beast. I had it on my my second lieutenant account. I wonder, they probably all those accounts have been deactivated now, I suppose. I don't really mind. I never spent G coin on Soldier Front 1, which is pretty amazing, but whatever. Anyways, but yeah, weapon similarities. You can find a lot of your beloved weapons that you used in Soldier Front 1 in Soldier Front 2. So I feel like a lot of those weapons are there because of nostalgia's sake, and hey, it's a good thing. Radio calls. Now, Soldier Front 1, the radio calls could get annoying because there were so many of them. Like every time someone tossed a grenade, it's like fire in the hole, fire in the hole, fire in the hole, something like that. So, but in Soldier Front 2, they're not as annoying because, well, first of all, it's a new game and I'm still getting used to it. Second of all, I feel like the voice acting is a lot more crisp because hey, it's a new game, right? So the voice acting is a lot more. I don't want to say professional, but it does sound a lot more crisp, and it's much more refreshing to hear. But even then, when your entire team is throwing frags and flashbangs, all you'll ever hear is fire in the hole, fire in the hole, fire in the hole. But yeah, I guess that's something else. That's something else that's pretty nostalgic. The fact that all these radio calls going off. But yeah, even then, the radio calls do seem very similar too. If you kind of see the list of radio calls that you can make, you'll notice that a lot of them do seem pretty similar. They have new ones too, but I feel like the radio call system really kind of emulates the Soldier Front 1 radio call system relatively well. Then again, I'm not one of those people who spam radio calls all the time, so I don't know. Weapon buying and repair system. Now, this has also carried over from Soldier Front 1, where when you buy a weapon, it's usually for permanent. In Soldier Front 1, there were only a few times where you had a weapon that wasn't for like a time duration. It's in Soldier Front 2, the weapon repair system is a lot like Arctic Combat, where if you buy a gun for permanent, now you can repair that gun. Its usage will degrade over time, and you kind of maintain and make sure it doesn't, break down too much to the point where you can't use it anymore because it's just way too shitty. But in Soldier Front 2, you still have that same kind of thing from Soldier Front 1. Now, the only difference, I suppose, it's a lot easier to repair your weapons because getting money is a lot easier. So hallelujah, we can actually repair our weapons without playing with a completely broken M92FS. That's actually what I had. I think on one of my Soldier Front 1 accounts, I had a fully broken Beretta pistol, and literally the first shot you took with that damn thing, the hipfire spread just spread out like 2 inches apart. Like, oh my god, why do I even still have this thing? But Yeah, the weapon buying and repair systems are so far are basically the same. And the last similarity that I want to kind of brush upon, which in my opinion at the same time is also the worst similarity that has carried over from Soldier Front 1, trading kills is back in Soldier Front 2. Now, I'm not really too sure what my thoughts are on this as of the moment. I do remember that trading kills in Soldier Front 1 was really annoying because I feel like the latency and the lag compensation in Soldier Front 2 is a lot like Soldier Front 1's, where it is super easy to trade kills. Like combat arms, Arctic combat, there is no trading of kills whatsoever unless you fire rockets at each other or toss grenades at each other and kill each other that way. Unless you do something like that, trading kills is just not possible in games like combat arms or Arctic combat. It's either they tank your shot and you die, or you kill them first. Soldier Front 2, I guess the lag algorithm is basically the same because you can trade kills extremely easily. You shoot someone, they shoot you, and you kill each other. There you go, you traded. The developers have even given you a medal for trading kills, and they call it the double KO, where you kill someone, they kill you, and double KO. There's your medal. And right now, I want to say that I'm not too huge of a fan of it because I'm so used to combat arms and Arctic combat and Call of Duty where there is no trading of kills. It's either you die or they die. And I don't know, the whole trading kills thing is definitely a Soldier Front 1 thing. And you can kind of see in other games like Arma, DayZ and whatnot, but Soldier Front is where I first learned of trading kills. The whole term of oh, he and I traded. So I'm still gonna have to see what my overall thoughts on that are. But so far, I don't like it at all. But I can understand where the developers are coming from. They're trying to make it fair for all players who might not have the best accuracy, or not, I shouldn't say best accuracy, but who might not have the best internet connection in the world. Maybe it's just making it kind of more fair for them. But I don't know. Trading kills sucks, especially when you killed someone. You had the upper hand on them, and all you have to do is just put one bullet into your head, and there you go. There's your trade. So, yeah, I don't know. It kind of sucks, but we're gonna have to deal with it. It's still a mechanic that is here, carried over from Soldier Front 1. Now, to wrap things up for my hour-long discussion on Soldier Front 1, I am loving the changes to Soldier Front 2 over Soldier Front 1. All the changes that you've heard me mention here in this video, just make it a very, very enjoyable game in my opinion. And the fact that developers are working really hard to make that possible just makes me very happy as a gamer. And they made it so that Soldier Front has evolved but have kept a lot of the core mechanics and kind of the key moments from Soldier Front 1 into Soldier Front 2. And it's still a new game, but there is definitely the whole Soldier Front vibe in it. And I think this game will be very successful. The gameplay is much faster, much more enjoyable, because in Soldier Front 1 the gameplay, the pace was dreadfully slow. Like if you weren't playing like TDM on Factory in Soldier Front 1, that is, it's like, oh, this game is taking forever, dude. And like I mentioned before, I'm not a very good Elim Pro, or what did they call it during that time? Was it called Single Battle or something like that? But either that or Search and Destroy. If I wasn't very good at those games, so usually I'd be the first one to die because I'd be like, herp derp, let's rush across the map, get sniped. Let's wait another 3 minutes for the next round. So I'm not too huge a fan of those, but I am a fan of lots of respawn game modes like Team Deathmatch and whatnot. So the fact that the gameplay is much more fast paced, I'm a huge fan of. So yeah, just overall, the game runs very smoothly. The only real problem to the frame rate is that I do get a constant around 150 FPS. The only problem is that there will be times where your game will kind of drop frames a little bit. It only happens like maybe twice, 3 times maybe per game. But I don't know if this is just my computer or if it happens to everyone. But I'm just warning you now. You might have a few lag spikes. That's not necessarily because of your internet connection. It's more like because of the fact that it's the game itself, and the game needs a little bit more coding so that the frame rate stays constant throughout the entire game. So Yeah, that's the only real problem with that I can see so far. And yeah, I definitely recommend it to anyone who has played Soldier Front 1. If you have played it before, then I do definitely recommend that you come back and try out the closed beta, at least the closed beta. If you don't really like how Soldier Front 2 was because you've loved Soldier Front 1, then just at least try out the closed beta. If you don't like it, then oh well. I guess that's too bad for you. But I do, if especially for newer gamers who want to get into Soldier Front 2 but have never played Soldier Front 1, this is still going to be a very enjoyable game in my opinion. So I think I can see it doing very well in the future, and I really hope it does because I was at one point a very big fan of Soldier Front 1, even though I didn't really like how the game played out. It was still fun, and I still played with a lot of friends back in the day. But yeah. Currently the game Soldier Front 2 is in closed beta. You can sign up over at the website at Aeria Games' website and download the client, sign up for the closed beta, and eventually I believe you can just hop right in. I think Aeria Games was hosting an event where they were giving out free beta keys to anyone who asked for them on their Facebook page, and I kind of got into that too late, so I didn't get a beta key. But all I did was just download the client, and I don't know exactly how I did it, but I just asked them to sign up. I just clicked on the button on their homepage, the Soldier Front 2 homepage on the Aeria Games, saying, oh, I wanna please invite me for a closed beta, and then I did that I think like yesterday or 2 days ago, and boom. Today I go log on, I'm in. So yeah, I think the whole invitation process will be very painless for most of you guys. But thanks for watching anyway. For all of you who have actually watched a 1-hour commentary on the changes from Soldier Front 1 to Soldier Front 2, man, that's pretty impressive for those guys who have listened all the way until now. I mean, I do a lot hour-long commentaries like this pretty regularly, but man, you're a freak if you've managed to listen to it all the way until this time. But anyways, my time's over. I've taken up too much of your time. So this has been me, Agent Psycho, aka Toe Sniper 98, talking about the whole change log that I've seen so far, or I've compiled anyway, from playing Soldier Front 2 and comparing them to my experiences in Soldier Front 1. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day. ゆっくりしてってね。